Hey folks, this is the Goblin King and it's Thursday, which means another anime review. I know this segment is supposed to also be for manga, and I promise one day I'm sure I'll review one. Unfortunately, this is not that day. I'm not a nerdy girl, and therefore I don't read as often as I once did. I blame ADD or something. However, I am doing something slightly different this week, in that I'm not reviewing something that I positively loved, or even really liked. That's right, I'm reviewing something that I really wasn't that into. This week, I'm doing Slime Taoshite 300 Nin. Yes, that's actually the shortened title for those not in the know. The full title is Slime Taoshite Sanbyaku Nin Shiranai Uchi ni Reburu Maxu ni Natemashita. Or, I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. That's how you know it's based on a light novel. So, the basic plot of this thing is actually pretty easy to describe. It's about Azusa Aizawa, who, in her previous life, was an office worker that basically worked herself to death. Now, because this goddess felt sorry for her, she offers to reincarnate Aizawa and asks if she has any preferences. Aizawa wants to be in her early 20s, unaging, and able to relax for a change. So this goddess reincarnates her as a witch of the appropriate age and all that. So Aizawa spends the next 300 years relaxing in her little cabin and going into the nearby village daily, and killing pesky slimes along the way. After 300 years, she finds she's completely maxed out all her attributes and the abilities just by killing these slimes. At this point, the fun is supposedly supposed to start. Let me start this off like I usually do, by just saying the things that I liked about this anime. First off, the artwork is gorgeous. No denying that whatsoever. The character and background designs are beautiful. The line work is crisp and clear. The colors are bold and vibrant. No problem whatsoever on that front. I mean, I do question the ridiculously giant hat that Aizawa wears, but I suppose it works with the character, so it's fine. Bafflingly, ridiculously large, but fine. It's fine. No way it would fit on her head like that, but it's fine. Why the fuck is her hat so huge? No, it's fine. Also, the characters in and of themselves were perfectly okay. Good even for the most part. Some of the characters' personalities and overall decisions were a little odd, but it's an anime and another world. Who am I to judge what a person does in some other world? The two little girl slime spirits or whatever, Falfa and Shalsa, were also fine. Just want to know why one of them loved the witch who'd been killing them for 300 years, is all. Don't think that was ever really answered, but, sure. Not sure why the hell is supposed to be a nice place, but okay, and filled with demons that kind of just like to annoy people. But sure. Like I said though, the characters in and of themselves were decent. None of them really and truly grated on my nerves or anything. So that's a good thing, right? They were perfectly acceptable characters, and I could even sympathize and get behind Aizawa's desire to live a harmonious, completely stress-free life. Totally. I was totally with this show for the first 2 or 3 episodes even. Didn't have a single problem with it at all. I liked the main character's motivation. I was delighted to see some of the issues that might come into conflict with that motivation and create overall story conflict. It was a nice beginning to an anime. However, after those first couple of episodes is when the storyline really starts to grind to a halt. I mean, for real, there's no real conflict here. The best conflict happens in the first episode when the red dragon Laika is introduced and she wants to battle the famous witch to test her strength. However, even that battle was fairly milquetoast, simply because the main character is, well, overpowered. This pretty much happens every single time. Aizawa's personality and drive are perfectly acceptable as long as there is conflict and there are stakes. And there are no stakes here. Aizawa is so very powerful that any conflict that does erupt can be easily countered by her, and everything immediately returns to the status quo. Peaceful. Boring. That's what Aizawa wants, of course, but that's not what the audiences should want or accept. Now, of course, conflict doesn't have to be physical. There was the possibility of a mildly interesting conflict when the little nominal family went to hell. The elf character, Alcara, made a faux pas and was about to be put to death. Good conflict. If it had played out in an interesting way, it would have been anyway. However, once again, it boiled down to Aizawa being overpowered and everything ultimately returning to the status quo. The concept of the anime itself is solid. It's an interesting premise. A woman who literally stressed herself to death being reincarnated and wanting to fucking relax for once. However, to make that interesting, you have to have storylines, events, characters that conflict with this. And when they do, it has to be interesting. There have to be actual stakes to keep the audience emotionally invested in what's going on. This show, these storylines, were so fucking boring that I literally fell asleep after an episode every single time I sat down and tried to watch this thing. Every time. I was asleep after one episode. I had zero real interest in this anime. I had little to no emotional investment in these characters. I'm legit having to look up their names on Wikipedia because I can't be arsed to remember them. I couldn't even remember the main character's name. That's how little this anime involved me. I'm actually, honestly, just a little angry that I didn't like this one, because the concepts and the characters themselves are solid enough. It's just the execution that's severely lacking. The anime is slow. It plods along at a very sedate pace, so sedate that you fall asleep. Now, I understand there are people who like this anime, and that's fine, but it definitely wasn't for me. However, I think that's all I can really say about this one. Have you seen this anime? If so, what'd you think? Let me know that in that handy section down below. While you're down there, if you like what I'm doing, maybe click that shiny red button. I'll see you on Saturday with my pop culture breakdown. Lates.